Shooting USA is brought to you by SnapSafe. Use promo code SUSA15 for 15% off.
Welcome to the Shooting USA Update Show for May 29th, 2025 from the regionally famous Chicken Coop, downtown Grand Island, Nebraska. We are here for the Hornady Zombie 3-gun. But last night was a new episode, the debut of the Ultimate Hunter Invitational. A $20,000 cash purse was up for grabs. Here's a clip. The jaw-dropping vistas of the western slope of Colorado are the backdrop for the Ultimate Hunter Rifle Challenge. And this time, there is a field of competitors here with one thing in mind: cash prizes.
The whole goal with making this a big money match was to attract people at high levels in other shooting sports who ordinarily wouldn't look at it twice. You know, they might think the format is cool, or it seems like a fun idea, but it's hard to ignore, a $7,000 first place check.
That goes without saying, and the roster of competitors speaks to the draw of the cash purse. The first order of business is the gear check. There are two divisions for the centerfire rifle, and your division is set by your choice of caliber. 6mm and down puts you in the varmint division, and your rifle with accessories must be less than 10 pounds. Velocity ceiling is 3,300 feet per second. 6.5 caliber and up puts you in the big game division. Weight limit here is 13 pounds. Velocity ceiling is 3,200 feet per second. Like I like to do, I have invited co-creator and match director Austin Pru in for a quick Riverside interview. Welcome to the Shooting USA Update Show. Match director and co-creator of the Ultimate Hunter Challenge, Austin Pru, is with us. We just shown a clip from last night's show. $20,000 cash prize. I believe that speaks to the validity of what you and Walt have created. Would you agree?
Yeah. I mean, we've had a ton of industry support from big names. A lot of that is partially, helped out by the relationships we've built with people in the industry over the year, but they're also putting a lot of trust into the concept that we're approaching them with. And I feel like if they didn't believe in the idea, that dollar figure would have been a lot smaller.
Well, that dollar figure for such a new shooting sport is what I am so incredibly impressed with. But I've been involved in the idea of this since the beginning. I mean, you guys were bouncing this idea off of me years ago, and Shooting USA has been to all of your nationals. I've participated in the archery version. I'm at a point now where I'm going to have to participate in the rifle version. Otherwise, I can't keep showing my face out there if I don't start shooting this game. It's exciting. It's fun to be around. And it's neat to see the competitors from other disciplines come in and give this a try. Some had great success. Some kind of were humbled a little bit. Yeah. Different skill sets brought certain things to the game that worked well or really didn't work well. And I think a lot of that is we get habituated to doing things in a certain way. And when a different situation or different constraints and parameters are put on us, that we find out where that skill set sinks or swims. And a lot of it comes down to adaptability of our methods and adaptability of our gear and how we use it. Well, that gets me to the next point, because the gear piece has always been one of those things that I admire very much about this format. This is not a gear race. There's a certain set of rules, and you can bring whatever you have. It can be a 30-year-old top-loading 30-06 with a fixed power scope, or it can be some of the newest gear out there, lightest weight magnesium chassis, things like that. You can spend literally $250 and play this game, or you can spend $25,000 if you wanted to. One of the things that I, though, have always pushed back on is historically the rule that there are to be no shooting bags that don't serve another purpose. You can shoot off of your backpack as a shooting bag. You can shoot off of your sweatshirt rolled up in a ball because it's a sweatshirt also. I like the idea that you're starting to soften to the idea of allowing shooting bags, but maybe with a weight limit. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so the main pushbacks that we've gotten since we rolled this out publicly have been suppressors, tripods, and bags. And suppressors, we've talked about trying to find a way to consistently work around that. I hunt with a suppressor, so I would love to find a consistent way to, allow the use. Tripods, it comes down to, the match director in Kansas might be able to design stages where you have to have a tripod, and we don't want to make that required gear. Nothing against them; they're an incredible tool, but that's kind of the reason we're still pretty hard against that. The bags thing, we were trying to avoid someone having to first of all buy, like, say, a game changer to be competitive, or someone relying solely on just a game changer, because 90% of stages, you'd be able to flop down a bag on a rock and have a solid, shooting position, at least at our matches, with the terrain that we have available to us. And that's why we've considered allowing bags with, like you said, certain constraints. Mainly weight, but also size as well being looped into that. I feel like if we set a low enough weight limit, we can solve a lot of that issue, even if we don't include a size limit parameter.
I think it's the natural direction, and I think it's a logical direction. I agree with the tripod rule. However, I think the bag is a viable tool, and I think more and more dedicated hunters are realizing the value and the flexibility that the bag offers. More to be seen as we move forward. You mentioned Game Changer, which means Armageddon Gear. Armageddon Gear offers spec light fill for their bags intentionally for the guys who would be backpacking and concerned about carrying weight. So a lighter weight bag ready to go from Armageddon Gear. That's the final pitch for that. The big news in this event for me, a 17-year-old takes down the big money. A junior wins this thing. How significant is that? And is that a piece, is there a piece of validation just for it's not the tools, it's not the bow and arrow, it's the Indian in this?
Yeah, I think so. And I was floored when it turned out the way it did. For being the first event like that we've run, I couldn't have been more happy with how it went overall. And then that was just icing on top for everything. Yeah, Jackson Go Lightly just mopped the floor with everyone else, and that was a stacked field. I mean, we had heavy hitters from NRL, PRS, the three gun world, you name it. If there's a rifle sport, we had some good shooters from that world in that match. And Jackson, on time and gear usage and planning, mopped everyone else and was also more accurate than everyone else. So he just dominated on all fronts. And from every interaction that I had with him that day, and every interaction that I heard of anyone else having with him that day, just an incredibly deserving, humble young man. And I talked to his dad for a little bit, and his dad said, "Yeah, this kid practices positions for at least an hour every single night." So he put in the work. He knew his gear. He had a method for everything he did, and he 100% earned the victory and earned a pretty good paycheck that day too.
The picture of you and Walt fanning out the big checks to help him hold up the overall winner plus high junior plus multiple stage wins is just like, I couldn't have scripted that. I was so happy when I saw that at the end. That had to go in peace. So no spoilers.
Yeah.
If you're watching this at this point, you've made it this deep into the interview and you haven't seen last night's episode, hey man, it's on you. Jackson Golightly, 17 years old, takes down the big win.
Yep.
Austin, that's everything I have for you. Thank you again, my man. I can't wait for the next one. And it looks like I'm at a point now where I can't continue to duck the rifle portion of this sport. As much as I love the archery version of this game, I'll bring a rifle next time because, dude, I have to give it a try.
Hey man, we'll see you there. Say when.
It's a fantastic format. I highly, highly recommend it. Big win for New Media as the IPSC, PCC, and Mini Rifle World Shoot has wrapped up. Lena Mitchlack, Hunter Constantine, Tom Castro, and friend John McClain all producing content. Oh man, thank you.
Appetizer, anything green? Yep, and then special today, the burgers, everything with the patty melt will be $10 if you get fries or street fries. Appreciate it.
Justine Williams takes high overall lady, and the U.S. ladies team also stands on top of the podium. There'll be plenty more content from Lena's channel on that one. Also, if you're into motorcycles, the Isle of Man TT is underway over on the Isle of Man. This is one of the most absolutely bonkers motorcycle races in the history of motorcycle racing, and they are leveraging New Media. Super slow-mo, check this out. Daily updates. Go give it a shot. If you're into bikes and you haven't seen this, you'll thank me later. And as Jim always said, share your sport.